It felt like a purpose in a way, I needed a reason, something driving me to get in shape, and I loved it.
The polygamous family drama has reached a breaking point, and Janelle Brown just dropped the biggest bombshell yet. Following nearly 3 decades as a plural wife, 30 years of staying quiet about family drama, and episode after episode of keeping her mouth shut, Janelle has finally blown apart the polished story the Brown family has been telling us about why everything fell apart.
They will push you, they will find your weakness, they will push you to the point where you break.
She's talking about money matters, how certain family members got special treatment, and all the clever ways attention got shifted away from the real issues. Janelle is putting pieces together that show a plan so carefully thought out and intentionally designed that it completely changes what we believed about why this plural marriage family fell apart. Janelle didn't simply tell her version of events. She revealed what she thinks was a complex plan created to protect one particular wife while throwing everyone else under the bus to look good in the public eye.
Oh my God.
I live at 7,000 feet. I start swimming out, so I put on a 50-pound Birkin rucksack and started hiking, swam a little bit. I was physically prepared, but I didn't think I was.
Based on what Janelle just revealed, Kody Brown has been playing a very particular part in this family mess, and it's not the confused father figure we've watched struggle through one relationship problem after another. She's claiming this is masterful emotional games at their best. The woman who handled family finances, while others decided how to spend the money, just presented an idea that has the plural marriage community completely shocked. Janelle is saying that Kody's more and more unpredictable actions, his divisive comments, his apparent mission to push away his other wives and grown kids isn't just him being clueless. It's a carefully planned distraction, meant to take all the heat and shift responsibility away from the wife who means everything to him. Now, imagine Janelle finally ending her polite silence after years of dealing with money problems, fights over the kids, and watching her sister wives leave the family one after another. Now she's talking with the sharp focus of someone who's finally figured out how the mind games worked. And what she's sharing about Kody's plan to protect Robyn Brown is absolutely mind-blowing. The claims coming from Janelle aren't just about wounded pride or regular jealousy between wives in a plural marriage. She's describing an organized effort where Kody makes himself the target, the family bad guy, the one taking all the blame while carefully keeping Robyn looking like the innocent woman who got caught in the middle of everything. According to Janelle's idea, every shocking comment, every decision that pushed people away, every public image mess-up has a bigger goal in this cover-up operation. But here's where Janelle's bombshell gets even more explosive. She's not just saying Kody plays favorites. Every Sister Wives fan has seen that happening for years. She's hinting that Robyn herself is pulling the strings on this protection plan from backstage, guiding Kody's choices to make sure that her part in the family's breakdown stays hidden while everyone else gets blamed. The online world is going crazy because Janelle's claims completely change how we see every dramatic moment we've watched. Those big fights with Christine, the custody wars with Mary, the money decisions that left other wives struggling. Janelle is saying these weren't just Kody's solo choices, but pieces of a bigger plan created to protect one marriage while destroying all the others. And the timing of these bombshells couldn't be more perfect, dropping right when the Brown family's plural marriage has officially crashed into separate homes, separate lives, and apparently separate versions of what really happened. So what exactly does Janelle mean when she says Kody ran a calculated protection plan? Let's break down this supposed strategy that has the Sister Wives fans completely shocked. According to Janelle's explosive idea, Kody has been deliberately making himself the family bad guy, willingly taking public hate and fan anger to keep Robyn's reputation perfect. Think about it. Every time drama breaks out, who gets blamed? Kody. Who gets painted as the unreasonable one? Kody. Who becomes the target of angry fans and family members? Always Kody. But Janelle is saying this isn't by accident. She thinks Kody is purposely playing the villain, making more and more shocking statements and choices that pull criticism away from Robyn and onto himself. It's like he's wearing a target on his back by choice, redirecting blame that might otherwise hit his favorite wife. When money decisions leave other family members broke, Kody takes the heat. When custody fights tear the family apart, Kody becomes the impossible parent. When marriages fall apart, Kody gets labeled as the one who wrecked everything. Here's where this supposed strategy gets really smart. According to Janelle's bombshells, she's not just saying Kody protects Robyn through his actions. She's hinting that Robyn actively guides those protective choices from backstage, Picture this setup. Robyn spotting potential threats to her position or reputation, then quietly steering Kody toward choices that eliminate those threats while keeping her hands spotless. The manipulation happens in private talks behind closed doors, where cameras can't see the real decision-making process. Janelle's idea paints Robyn as a master planner who knows exactly how to keep her position as the good wife, while her sister wives get systematically pushed out. Every time Kody makes a decision that helps Robyn's children over his other kids, every time he picks Robyn's household needs over another wife's money troubles, every time he sides with Robyn in family fights. Janelle suggests these aren't just Kody's independent choices, but carefully planned moves created to protect Robyn's image. The genius of this supposed protection plan, according to Janelle, lies in how believable it looks. Robyn can keep her position as the victim, the wife who's simply trying to keep her family together while everyone else creates drama. She gets to look reasonable, supportive, and patient, while Kody takes all the criticism for decisions that ultimately help her most. It's like having a human shield that willingly jumps in front of every bullet aimed her way. But Janelle is revealing what she thinks happens behind that public act. She's suggesting that Robyn's influence shapes Kody's most controversial decisions, from money priorities to custody arrangements to which relationships get sacrificed for family peace. The strategy supposedly works because viewers see Kody making these choices independently, not recognizing the backstage influence that guides those decisions. And here's the most damaging part of Janelle's claims. She thinks this protection strategy requires other family members to be thrown under the bus. For Robyn to stay the innocent victim, someone else has to be the problem. For Robyn's needs to come first, other concerns have to be ignored. For Robyn's children to get special treatment, other kids have to accept less attention and resources. Janelle is basically accusing them of running a sophisticated manipulation campaign that sacrifices everyone else's relationships and reputations to preserve one marriage, one image, one carefully built story about who deserves protection and who's expendable in this family ranking. To understand how this supposed protection plan developed, we need to travel back through nearly 3 decades of Brown family history. Janelle didn't reach these explosive claims overnight. She's connecting patterns that she thinks have been building systematically since Robyn entered the family picture. According to Janelle's revelations, what started as typical new wife adjustment has grown into something far more calculated and destructive. Picture the early days when Janelle first married into this plural family setup. For years, she navigated the complex dynamics of sharing a husband with other wives, managing household finances while balancing everyone's needs, and raising children in a system that required constant negotiation and compromise. These weren't easy years, but Janelle suggests there was a certain balance, a working system where conflicts got resolved and decisions considered everyone's welfare. Then Robyn joined the family, and according to Janelle's theory, everything began shifting in ways that seemed innocent at first, but created devastating long-term consequences. The initial changes appeared to be standard new wife integration. Kody spending extra time with Robyn, making sure she felt welcomed, helping her children adjust to their expanded family structure. Every woman who's witnessed blended family dynamics recognizes these adjustment periods as normal, even necessary. But Janelle is suggesting that what looked like typical honeymoon phase behavior never actually ended. Instead of settling into the established family rhythm, the special treatment continued, intensified, and eventually became the new normal. She thinks Robyn's influence over Kody's decision-making grew stronger year after year, while other wives' input gradually became less valued, less considered, and ultimately less relevant to major family choices. Fast forward through the years, and Janelle claims she can now see a clear pattern of decisions that consistently benefited Robyn while creating problems for everyone else. Financial choices that prioritized Robyn's household needs, custody arrangements that favored Robyn's children, living situations that kept Robyn close, while other wives dealt with distance and separation, time allocation that left other relationships neglected, while Robyn's marriage flourished. The genius of this supposed long-term strategy, according to Janelle, lies in how gradual and seemingly reasonable each individual decision appeared. When Kody chose to spend extra time at Robyn's house during a family crisis, it looked like appropriate support. When financial resources flowed toward Robyn's needs during tight budget periods, it seemed like practical priority setting. When conflicts arose and Kody consistently sided with Robyn's perspective, it appeared to be independent judgment rather than influenced decision-making. But now Janelle is viewing these decades through a different lens. recognizing what she thinks was systematic favoritism disguised as circumstantial necessity. She's suggesting that every major family disruption, every relationship breakdown, every financial crisis somehow resulted in decisions that strengthened Robyn's position while weakening everyone else's security and influence within the family structure. The most damaging revelation in Janelle's historical analysis involves timing. She thinks the protection strategy intensified whenever other wives began questioning family dynamics or pushing back against decisions that seemed unfair. According to her theory, moments when Mary expressed frustration, when Christine demanded equal treatment, or when Janelle herself raised concerns about financial priorities became triggers for even more elaborate protective measures around Robyn. And here's where Janelle's pattern recognition gets particularly explosive. She suggests that family members who posed the biggest threat to Robyn's favored position eventually found themselves pushed out entirely, not through direct confrontation, but through systematic alienation, increasingly unreasonable demands, and conflicts that made staying in the family structure impossible to maintain. According to Janelle's explosive revelations, Robyn's influence over Kody operates like a sophisticated manipulation web, with tactics so subtle and strategic that they're almost invisible to casual observers. Janelle isn't just accusing Robyn of typical wife preferences or normal marital influence. She's describing what she thinks is a calculated system of psychological manipulation, designed to control family decisions while maintaining complete plausible deniability. First layer of this supposed manipulation involves what Janelle suggests is Robyn's masterful use of emotional positioning. Instead of directly demanding preferential treatment, Robyn supposedly presents herself as the family member most in need of protection, most vulnerable to criticism, most deserving of Kody's defensive instincts. She becomes the victim who requires shielding rather than the beneficiary who's receiving favorable treatment. This emotional framing transforms what could look like selfish demands into protective necessity. Janelle thinks Robyn has perfected the art of presenting her own needs as family emergencies, while minimizing other wives' concerns as petty complaints. When Robyn's household needs financial attention, it becomes a crisis requiring immediate intervention. When other wives express similar needs, they become examples of jealousy or unreasonable expectations. The same situation gets completely different framing depending on who's involved, and Kody supposedly responds to that framing rather than evaluating circumstances objectively. But here's where Janelle's accusations get even more sophisticated. She suggests Robyn doesn't just influence individual decisions. She shapes Kody's entire worldview about family dynamics and relationship priorities through careful conversation management, strategic emotional responses, and subtle reinforcement of certain perspectives. Robyn supposedly guides Kody toward viewing other wives' concerns as threats to family harmony rather than legitimate relationship issues that need addressing. The brilliance of this supposed manipulation system lies in how it makes Kody feel like he's making independent choices while actually following carefully planted suggestions. Janelle describes scenarios where Robyn might express worry about family stability, concern about negative influences on the children, or anxiety about external criticism. Then allow Kody to develop his own solutions to these planted concerns. When his solutions inevitably benefit Robyn's position, she appears surprised by his generosity rather than instrumental in achieving those outcomes. Janelle also thinks Robyn has mastered the timing of her emotional needs and strategic vulnerabilities. Moments when other wives are gaining ground in family discussions, when financial decisions might favor other households, or when attention starts flowing toward other relationships become precisely when Robyn supposedly experiences crises that require Kody's immediate focus and protective energy. These perfectly timed emergencies redirect family resources back toward Robyn, while making other wives appear selfish for pursuing their own needs during someone else's crisis. According to Janelle's theory, Robyn's manipulation extends to managing information flow within the family. She supposedly controls what Kody knows about other wives' situations, filtering complaints and concerns through her own interpretation before they reach him. Other wives' legitimate grievances get reframed as jealousy or drama, while Robyn's needs get presented as urgent family priorities requiring immediate attention and resolution. The most devastating aspect of this supposed manipulation web involves how it turns family members against each other while keeping Robyn above the conflict. When other wives react to obviously unfair treatment, their reactions become evidence of their problematic attitudes rather than natural responses to systematic favoritism. Robyn gets to maintain her position as the peacemaker, trying to hold everyone together while everyone else appears to be creating unnecessary drama. Janelle suggests that this manipulation strategy requires constant maintenance and escalation to remain effective. As other family members recognize the patterns and begin pushing back, the protective measures around Robyn must become more extreme, the deflection tactics more dramatic, and the alienation of potential threats more complete. Janelle isn't making these explosive accusations based on hurt feelings alone. She's pointing to what she thinks is a documented trail of favoritism so obvious that every Sister Wives viewer has witnessed it play out season after season. The evidence she's highlighting paints a picture of systematic preference that goes far beyond typical marital dynamics into something much more calculated and devastating. Start with the financial evidence that Janelle knows intimately from managing household budgets for decades. She's suggesting that major family expenditures consistently flowed toward Robyn's needs while other wives dealt with financial constraints. When the family faced budget crises, somehow Robyn's household maintained stability while others struggled. When investment decisions needed making, priorities aligned with Robyn's preferences and security rather than equal family benefit. The housing arrangements tell another story. According to Janelle's revelations, while other wives dealt with temporary living situations, rental properties, and housing instability, Robyn's living arrangements remained consistently prioritized and secure. Geographic decisions that kept the family separated somehow always ensured Robyn stayed closest to Kody's daily attention and involvement. But the most damaging evidence Janelle highlights involves time allocation and emotional investment. She suggests tracking Kody's presence at family events, his involvement in different households, his attention to various children's needs reveals a pattern so skewed toward Robyn's family unit that other relationships suffered systematic neglect. When scheduling conflicts arose, Robyn's needs consistently won priority. The custody and parenting decisions provide what Janelle considers the clearest evidence of manipulation. She thinks examining which children received Kody's active involvement, which family situations got his immediate attention, and which parenting conflicts received his supportive intervention reveals favoritism so extreme that some of his own biological children became effectively estranged. Janelle also points to crisis response patterns as evidence. When family emergencies arose, Kody's protective energy consistently flowed toward Robyn's concerns, while other wives' crises got minimized or delayed responses. The same types of problems received completely different priority levels depending on which wife experienced them. Perhaps most tellingly, Janelle suggests examining the pattern of family departures. As each wife reached breaking points with the favoritism, their exit experiences followed similar trajectories: increased conflict, unreasonable demands, systematic alienation until leaving became the only viable option. Meanwhile, Robyn's position remained secure and strengthened with each departure. According to Janelle's explosive theory, this evidence trail reveals not accidental preference, but strategic manipulation designed to eliminate threats to Robyn's favored position while maintaining her image as the innocent victim of other people's jealousy and drama. Here's where Janelle's accusations reach nuclear levels of explosive. When Kody claims his ex-wives left due to jealousy toward Robyn, Janelle isn't just disputing that narrative. She's calling it masterful manipulation designed to rewrite history and avoid accountability for systematic favoritism. According to her revelations, the jealousy excuse represents the final layer of protection around Robyn, transforming legitimate grievances about unfair treatment into character flaws of the women raising those concerns. Think about the brilliance of this supposed deflection strategy. Instead of addressing documented favoritism, financial inequality, or systematic neglect, Kody frames everything as jealousy between women. Suddenly, the conversation shifts from his choices and their consequences to his ex-wives' supposed emotional inadequacies. The wives become the problem, rather than the favoritism being the issue. Janelle suggests this jealousy narrative serves multiple strategic purposes in protecting Robyn's position. First, it invalidates any criticism by attributing it to emotional weakness rather than legitimate concern. When Christine expresses frustration about unequal treatment, it gets labeled jealousy. When Mary raises questions about financial priorities, jealousy again. When Janelle herself points out favoritism patterns, same response, just jealous women who can't handle sharing. But the real genius of this deflection, according to Janelle's theory, lies in how it positions Robyn as the innocent victim of other women's emotional problems. She becomes the wife who did nothing wrong except exist while other wives tortured themselves with jealousy and resentment. Robyn gets sympathy instead of scrutiny, protection instead of accountability for her role in family dynamics. Janelle is suggesting that this jealousy excuse allows Kody to avoid examining his own behavior entirely. Instead of asking why multiple wives developed similar complaints, why long-term marriages failed, or why his own children became estranged, he can simply blame everything on women being unable to control their jealous impulses toward his favorite wife. The most damaging aspect of this narrative manipulation involves how it gaslights the very real experiences of systematic, unfair treatment. Women who balanced household budgets while watching resources flow elsewhere, who managed family schedules while seeing time allocation heavily skewed, who raised children while witnessing obvious parental favoritism. Their lived experiences get dismissed as jealous delusions rather than acknowledged as legitimate responses to documented inequality. According to Janelle's explosive revelations, calling it jealousy instead of favoritism represents the ultimate protection strategy, allowing both Kody and Robyn to maintain their victim narratives, while the women with actual grievances get painted as emotionally unstable troublemakers who destroyed their own family through petty jealousy. The sister wives community has absolutely exploded since Janelle's revelations hit, and the response is unlike anything we've seen in the show's long history. Facebook groups are buzzing with thousands of comments, Reddit threads are stretching into novel-length discussions, and longtime fans are experiencing what can only be described as collective awakening moments. Women who followed this family for over a decade are suddenly seeing years of footage through completely different eyes. The most fascinating aspect of this community eruption involves fans connecting dots they never realized were there. Viewers are going back through seasons, screenshotting financial discussions, tracking time allocation patterns, and creating detailed timelines that support Janelle's explosive theory. The evidence compilation happening across social media platforms reads like investigative journalism, with fans uncovering patterns they'd previously dismissed as typical plural marriage dynamics. Group chats and coffee shop conversations have turned into impromptu sister wives analysis sessions, with women sharing their own experiences, recognizing similar manipulation tactics in personal relationships. The conversation has expanded beyond television entertainment into real discussions about financial control, emotional manipulation, and systematic favoritism in family structures. These aren't just fans gossiping anymore. They're women processing Janelle's revelations through their own lived experiences. What's particularly striking about the community response involves the generational divide in reactions. Older viewers, especially women who've managed household finances and navigated complex family dynamics, are expressing validation that their instincts about the favoritism were correct all along. They're sharing stories about recognizing red flags they couldn't articulate before Janelle provided the framework for understanding systematic manipulation. The internet sisterhood has also rallied around Janelle herself, praising her courage in finally speaking truth about dynamics she witnessed firsthand for nearly 3 decades. Comment sections are filled with women expressing gratitude that someone with insider knowledge validated what they'd been observing from the outside. The phrase, "finally, someone said it," appears repeatedly across platforms. But the most powerful community reaction involves women sharing their own stories of recognizing similar patterns in their personal relationships. Janelle's accusations about systematic favoritism disguised as circumstantial necessity have resonated far beyond Sister Wives viewers, sparking conversations about manipulation tactics and emotional deflection strategies that many women have experienced but couldn't name. The community momentum behind Janelle's revelations suggests this isn't just television drama anymore. It's become a catalyst for broader discussions about recognizing manipulation, trusting instincts about unfair treatment, and refusing to accept jealousy explanations for legitimate grievances about systematic inequality. Janelle's explosive revelations provide a masterclass in recognizing manipulation tactics that extend far beyond reality television drama. Her accusations about systematic favoritism and strategic deflection offer warning signs that every woman should recognize, whether dealing with family dynamics, workplace politics, or personal relationships. Let's break down the red flag patterns that Janelle's theory illuminates. The first major warning sign involves what relationship experts call triangulation, when someone creates conflict between others while positioning themselves above the drama. According to Janelle's accusations, Robyn perfected this tactic by influencing decisions that pitted other wives against each other while maintaining her own innocent victim status. Watch for people who somehow remain untouchable while chaos swirls around them, especially when that chaos consistently benefits their position. Financial control represents another crucial red flag that Janelle highlighted through her budget management experience. When resources consistently flow toward one person's needs while others face restrictions, and when those decisions get justified through emotional manipulation rather than transparent discussion, you're witnessing systematic favoritism disguised as necessity. Trust your instincts when financial priorities seem skewed beyond reasonable explanation. The crisis timing pattern that Janelle described deserves particular attention. When someone repeatedly experiences urgent needs precisely when others are gaining ground or receiving attention, you might be witnessing strategic emotional manipulation. Genuine crises happen randomly. Manufactured crises happen when they serve specific purposes. Janelle's theory also exposes the reframe and deflect tactic, where legitimate concerns get transformed into character flaws of the person raising them. When your grievances about unfair treatment get consistently labeled as jealousy, drama, or emotional instability, you're experiencing a classic manipulation technique designed to avoid accountability while discrediting your perspective. The gradual escalation pattern represents perhaps the most dangerous warning sign. Janelle suggests recognizing when initially reasonable accommodations slowly expand into systematic inequality. Manipulation often works through incremental boundary erosion rather than dramatic violations, making it harder to identify and easier to rationalize. Information filtering presents another red flag worth noting. When one person controls what others know about situations, consistently interpreting events through their own lens, before sharing details, you're witnessing potential manipulation of family or group dynamics. Healthy relationships involve transparent communication, rather than strategic information management. Most importantly, Janelle's revelations highlight the power of trusting your own observations and experiences. When multiple people develop similar concerns about the same person or situation, when your instincts consistently signal unfairness despite surface explanations, when documentation supports patterns of inequality, trust those signals rather than accepting explanations that dismiss your legitimate concerns as emotional overreaction. The devastating aftermath of this supposed favoritism strategy reads like a case study in how systematic manipulation can destroy everything it touches. According to Janelle's explosive revelations, the cost of protecting one marriage has been the obliteration of an entire family structure, leaving broken relationships, estranged children, and fractured trust that may never recover. Start with the most heartbreaking casualty: Kody's relationships with his own children. Multiple adult children have publicly distanced themselves from their father, and Janelle's theory suggests this isn't coincidental teenage rebellion, but the predictable result of systematic parental favoritism. When children witness one set of siblings receiving consistent priority, while their needs get minimized, alienation becomes inevitable. The father, who once prided himself on his large, connected family, now faces the reality of children who want nothing to do with him. The marriage casualties tell their own devastating story. 3 decades of relationship building, shared history, and family creation reduced to legal separations and bitter public disputes. According to Janelle's accusations, each departing wife now followed a similar trajectory, recognizing the favoritism, attempting to address it, facing increasing hostility for raising concerns, and ultimately choosing departure over continued systematic mistreatment. What started as a plural marriage experiment has become a series of relationship casualties. Financial stability represents another major casualty of this supposed protection strategy. Managing resources to consistently favor one household while others struggle creates long-term economic damage that extends beyond immediate budget constraints.